Hey guys, this is GilFX here, back with another Magic the Gathering video. But first, I would like to say all the pictures I found for this video. Well, all the pictures that are in this video, I do not own them. They belong to Wizards, and you can go to the link on the screen. Pretty much, you can just type in wizards.com/magic. If I forget to leave an annotation, which I did on the last video, I'll fix that when I upload this. Sorry about that. But yeah, we are on to week 2 of the Avacyn Restored spoiler review. As you'll notice, I have Avacyn in the background. And tell me what you think. I like the different background rather than just being plain white. And I'll probably do this for next week's. Maybe I'll do something different. I don't know. It's an idea. And if you do like this picture, you can get it as a background if you go into the Wizards Magic Arcane list. I forget. I'll try to leave a link to this picture too, if I think about it. But it's a pretty cool picture. It's the art on the pack. I mean, not on the pack. On the card itself. So, and it looks pretty good. So let's get on to the actual review. White spells. The first spell you'll find, if you go onto the card gallery, is Angel of Glory's Rise. For 5 colorless, 2 light. It's an angel, rare, has flying. When it enters the battlefield, exile all zombies, then return all human creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. I like this. I mean, it's a reversed zombie apocalypse with wings. That's the best way I can think to explain it, really. And it is it's cool, but the problem is, if you're going to be using it with humans, you don't get any of the human support. And it's a really high mana cost. Now, what I was kind of thinking is you could run a Reanimator deck. I know I keep talking about Reanimator, but this is probably its best option for doing anything. If there's any big humans, which I can't think of off the top of my head, you can, sorry about that, but I jelly bean. You can use Unburial Rites to get this out, and use this to exile your opponent's zombies, which right now Grave Titan is still in the format, and zombies were getting good there for a while with Dark Ascension. So you can use this, get rid of, pretty much wipe your opponent's field if you're playing against zombies, then bring out this big human and attack with it next turn. So it's one of those cards that could be good, it's just its mana cost kills it. That has to do with a lot of cards I see. A lot of the cards released, and I don't know. It might see some play eventually. Commander's Authority. It's an enchantment aura. Well, I just kind of skipped the mana cost. For 4 colorless, 1 white, it's an enchantment aura. It's an uncommon. Enchant target creature. Enchanted creature has, at the beginning of your upkeep, put a 1/1 white human creature token onto the battlefield. Hang on. Yeah, excuse me. Anyways, I feel it would be a good card. Another case where its mana cost kills it. I think they could have easily made this 2 colorless, 1 white, and made it good. Considering at the upkeep, it's too late for blockers. It's too late for the token to attack. I mean, honestly, it'd be better if it were at your end step or end phase or whatever it is. I forget exactly the term. It would be that much better. A good bit better, I should say. Because you have a blocker in the token as the token. I don't know, it's not going to see play. I'll be very surprised if it does, at least. But cool card. Anyways, Defy Death. For 3 colorless, 2 whites, it's a sorcery. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. If it's an angel, put 2+1/+1 counters on it. I can see Angel Reanimator, like Angel Frights, I guess, seeing play. Like, yes, once again, we're at the point where we're at. While looking at this card, you can say that its mana cost is pretty high, but paying 5 mana for a Avacyn that is +2/+2. So it's a 10/10 indestructible. Forget if it's like hexproof or first strike. It has something else, I'm pretty sure. But still, I mean, a 10/10 indestructible that makes your other creatures indestructible. That's pretty good for 5. And you have the option of bringing out other cards. So I can see this working. I can see this seeing play. If no one else, I'll probably play it in something. Because I did say before I wanted to try a Reanimator deck. So I'll have to consider this. And something I want to bring up, I'm debating on whether to go to the pre-release. I think I'm gonna do another video explaining why, but I'm debating between going and not going. If I do, I'll like open my packs. When I get home, I will do a deck tech on the deck I used, I guess. If you guys want to see something else, I'll see what I can do. Just give me a little heads up before next Saturday. So anyways, let's get on to this. Entreat the Angels for 2 X colorless, like, that's the best way I can think of to explain it. 2 X colorless and 3 whites is a sorcery, mythic rare. Put X 4/4 white angel creature tokens with flying onto the battlefield. And its miracle cost, we're getting into miracle again, which makes it just insane. For 1 X and X colorless and 2 whites. Now, this card I don't see seeing too much play, but it's an option. I mean, maybe black-white tokens, because I mean, especially for the miracle cost. I mean, even if you only get 1 4/4 angel, I mean, that's still pretty good. Its regular cost. I hate that they're putting 2 X colorless on a lot of these cards. I find that could get a little confusing. But this card probably won't see too much play unless, like I said, black-white tokens. But I don't know. Still, I like the card. It's not horrible. Just another one of those cases where high mana cost. I think this is the last white spell, yeah. White spell. Terminus for 4 colorless, 2 whites. It's a sorcery, rare. Put all creatures on the bottom of their owner's libraries, and the miracle cost is 1 light. By reading this, it says all creatures. It doesn't say on the battlefield. It doesn't say in the graveyard. It doesn't say in the hands. It doesn't say exiled either. I don't know how this would work. I would assume on the field, but assuming isn't always the best idea. I don't know. I mean, if it's everything, I can see this. Well, okay, it's probably not in the hand because it doesn't say look in your each player look. I feel it would be worded differently. Let's leave it at that. I don't know. I'm a little confused. I'm gonna make the assumption that it's just on the field and say that this card is pretty good if I'm trying to think of what it's called. I think it's the same thing as, I think it's Wrath of God. It's like 2 colorless, 2 white, destroy all creatures on the battlefield. Something like that. if that rotates out and doesn't come back in with Core 13, this might see some play. But otherwise, it's just doomed to being outclassed. And I said this before in the last video, I only know really too much. The most I know about is standard play, not Legacy or Commander or any other format really. So when I say a card is probably not going to be good, I mean in standard. I can't say for any other format. So I'm just saying that. Probably a little bit late, but oh well. Now we're on the blue spells. I like this card, and I'll explain once after I read it. Infinite Reflection for 5 colorless, 1 blue. It's an enchantment aura. It's a rare. Enchant creature. When Infinite Reflection enters the battlefield attached to a creature, each non-token creature you control becomes a copy of that creature. Non-token creatures you control enter the battlefield as a copy of enchanted creature. This could get insane. If it's going to be used, it's going to be used in some sort of blue, green, blue, green, or plus any colored mana ramp kind of build. Because 6 mana is pretty high. But I feel this can pay off because you can get some big attackers. Like, good example would probably be like, if you use this for, I know Frost Titan's starting to see a little bit of play. You could use this on Frost Titan, like a pure blue, I guess, and attack with that. And since each creature is entering the battlefield as a copy of it, you could drop, like, Delver, 1 drop, and then use Frost Titan's effect just for 1 drop. Of course, you have to have one on the field in the first place, but, you know, then if you're using this in a multicolor deck, I'd probably say, like, once again, we're going to the Titans, which will probably rotate out after, which could rotate out after Core 13, I should say that. I heard they're not going to be put in, or maybe there was that they're hopefully not. But if they do, like, you could use this, copy Inferno Titan, and you could, like, burn your opponent for game instead of having to worry about blockers. You could copy Grave Titan and just get insane amount of zombie tokens for blockers or attackers next turn. Unfortunately, they don't come into play as a copy of Grave Titan, but still, you know, Primeval Titan get crazy amounts of land. Sun Titan get crazy amounts of cheap cards, and if they're cheap creatures, they just enter the battlefield as another copy of Sun Titan. The point is, I like this card. I feel it could have a use, but it's one of those cards that's just going to be cursed for its high cost. Like I said, it could see use, but it probably won't. And guys, before I get on to the next spell, I'm going to take a quick break. So I will be... Alright guys, I am back and ready to get on with this. Next card is Misthallow Griffin. For 2 colorless, 2 blues, it's a creature griffin. It's a mythic. Flying, you may cast Misthallow Griffin from exile. And it's a 3/3. No. No. First of all, it's not deserving of being a mythic. Second of all, it's not that good. I mean, what's going to exile it right now? I mean, really. Once again, I don't remember what it's called, but I think it's Flicker. It doesn't work with Flicker because, yeah, it, like, exiles it, then instantly returns it. I don't know why they made this a mythic. Honestly, I think it's like a common. It's worthy of common, maybe on uncommon, not rare, and certainly not mythic rare. I'm rather disappointed with this card. I mean, it's not necessarily bad. It's just no, I don't know. It's it angers me that they make stupid mythics, because with my luck, I'm gonna end up pulling a ton of them, and they're not gonna be worth anything whatsoever. Well, I shouldn't say for myself. I mean, it's just like, it's for those of you who play Yu-Gi-Oh! It's like opening a pack, seeing you pulled a secret, then seeing it's a crappy one. This is one of those cards. Like, I see a blue. Well, I see it's a mythic rare. I'd rather have like one of the Planeswalkers or Avacyn or something else than this for my mythic. So I'm disappointed, but what can you do? Nephalia Smuggler. It's a for 1 blue. That's not bad to start out with, but it gets worse. It's a human rogue, uncommon, for 3 colorless and a blue. Tap it to exile another target creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under your control. It's just more flicker. I mean, why? Just why? I mean, it's an interesting idea, the flicker, but I think they're overdoing it by a lot. This won't see play. I mean, it's easy to cast, but it's the cost to activate the ability. I mean, why? If it was just tap it to flicker, or even 1 blue and tap to do it. I mean, they killed its usability by making it such a high cost to use the effect. I mean, why? Now we're on to black spells, though, and okay, Appetite for Brains. For 1 black, it's a sorcery, uncommon. Target opponent reveals his or her hand. You choose a card with a converted mana cost of 4 or greater, and exile that card. This could be good against Frights or any other kind of reanimator. I see this as anything being a sideboard card. No, not a main deck, main board, whatever. Sideboard at most, but not horrible for an uncommon. Demonic Rising. This is kind of a cool idea, but for 3 colorless and 2 blacks, it's an enchantment, rare. At the beginning of your end step, if you control exactly 1 creature, put a 5/5 black demon creature token with flying onto the battlefield. Now, once again, you're faced with a really high converted mana cost, and it's a token, so like, you can't use this with a reanimator deck. Like, you know what I mean? That's the best way I can explain it. I mean, yes, you're getting tokens, but you'd rather use that 5 on better stuff. But I like the idea behind it. It won't see use. Let's leave it at that. If it does, I'll be surprised. Descent into Madness. I forget what this does, so I'll figure it out, I guess. For 3 colorless, 2 blacks, enchantment, mythic rare. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a despair counter on Descent into Madness. Then each creature exiles X permanent he or she controls and or a card from his or her hand, where X is the number of despair counters on Descent into Madness. Once again, another sideboard card, if anything. And once again, against reanimator decks such as Frights. But I like the idea behind it. My only complaint is each player. I guess this could be one of those cards that you could combine with the Griffin, Mist Hollow Griffin, I think. But is it worth it? You still have to have the mana to recast the Griffin. You have to have the mana to cast this. I mean, no. Why? I don't see a purpose. Exquisite Blood. For 4 colorless, 1 black. It's an enchantment, rare. Whenever an opponent loses life, you gain that much life. Another one of those cards that, if it had a lower converted mana cost, could possibly see use. I'm saying possibly because it probably wouldn't either way, but it's possible. It's not that good. Let's just leave it at that. Yet, well, no, I'm not going to leave it at that. Yes, you're gaining life, but I don't know, I just don't feel it's worth it. Homicidal Seclusion for 4 colorless, can't talk, and a black enchantment, uncommon. As long as you control exactly 1 creature, that creature gets +3/+1 and has lifelink. Once again, cool idea, but I feel having only 1 creature is a good enough like, I can't think of the word, like it's a good enough, oh my goodness, I can't think of the word. I'm just having one of those moments. I mean, that's hard enough to do without having to get 5 mana to use this. I mean, if it was a 4 or 3 drop, it would see a good bit of use, I feel. But I mean, just another one of those cards where mana cost kills it. There's a lot of cases in Magic, I feel, where that's the case. Human Frailty? Frailty. Human Frailty. It's only 1 black, it's an instant, uncommon, destroy target human creature. Simple. That's a kind of cool quote from Olivia Volderen. But the card itself, once again, sideboard. Sideboard card. Against humans, which may or may not see play. Probably only problem I see is that it doesn't hit one of their biggest hitters, which is Mirroring Crusader. But it hits stuff like Champion of the Parish, Silverblade Paladin will probably see a good bit of play. Invisible Stalker. Just humans. Nice sideboard card, I feel. Like, yes, you could just use Doomblade, but you could save that 1 mana for something else. And you can use this turn once. So, yeah. I feel it's pretty good if humans get big. Treacherous Pit Dweller. For 2 blacks, it is a creature demon. It's a rare. When Treacherous Pit Dweller enters the battlefield from a graveyard, target opponent gains control of it, and it has Undying. And it's a 4/3. Why? Well, yeah, just why? Like, yes, it's a big hitter for 2 mana, but this is one of those cards that's just not gonna see play unless unless they release a card that gives you control of cards on your opponent's side of the field, that you, like, if you own a card and your opponent gains control of it, it returns it to your side of the field. Like, for those of you Yu-Gi-Oh players, like remove Brainwashing or Owner's Seal, then this could see play. But until that happens, it's just gonna collect dust in somebody's binder. Now, these 2 cards I put together because their story just meshes in a weird way to explain. Triumph of Cruelty and Triumph of Ferocity. I'm going to start with Triumph of Cruelty. For 2 colorless and 1 black, it's an enchantment, uncommon. At the beginning of your upkeep, target opponent discards a card. If you control the creature with the greatest power, or tied for the greatest power. And there's a quote from Liliana Vess, which I actually will read out loud. If I can talk. I've seen corpses prettier than you, Beast Mage. Liliana Vess. Of course, the story is, well, I'll read the other card before I say anything about either. Hang on a second. My ear itches, but anyways, and Triumph of Ferocity is a green spell, even though it's in the black section. For 2 colorless, 1 green, it's an enchantment, uncommon. At the beginning of your upkeep, draw a card if you control the creature with the greatest power, or tied for the greatest power. Rid me of this curse, witch, or die with me. Garruk Wildspeaker. Now, for those of you who don't know, like, Garruk and Liliana have, like, from what I understand, Garruk's trying to kill Liliana, but Liliana keeps evading him, and if you remember Innistrad, where they released Garruk Relentless, and Garruk, I forget what the other form was, but the story was Liliana put a curse on Garruk, turning him into that, and pretty much, at least from what I understand, it's like, so she came to Innistrad for to rescue Grizzlebrand, yeah, who put a curse on her. Then Garruk followed her into Innistrad, trying to hunt her down, but she put a curse on him, turning him into Garruk Relentless. So he's been following her around Innistrad, and like the curse has been slowly killing him, turning him into like a madman, and he's trying to find her so he can get her to take the curse away. Yeah. So this is kind of like two sides of the kind of conclusion, I guess. Two sides of the climax, I guess. One being Triumph of Cruelty, where Liliana is about to win. Then Triumph of Ferocity is where Garruk's about to win. But now that you know the story behind the cards, which that was a little bit long, I'm sorry for that. But they're a cool idea. Probably won't see any play. But I like the idea, and the flavor just adds to it. So, yeah. Next cards. Well, red spells. Archwing Dragon for 2 colorless, 2 reds. Is a dragon rare, flying haste. Has flying and haste. At the beginning of your end step, return Archwing Dragon to its owner's hand. Bad. It's really bad. If you want a dragon with flying and haste, Volcanic Dragon, that you can get in a core set, it's an uncommon. I mean, and it doesn't have to return to your hand during the end step. Much better. Much better. I don't see why this will ever see play. So, that's just stupid, honestly. But Lightning Mauler, I like this idea. Once again, we're getting back into soulbound creatures. Lightning Mauler for 1 colorless, 1 red. Human Berserker, uncommon, has soulbound. Which, if you don't know what that is, just read the card, because I've explained it in the last video. Or just watch the last video, I guess. As long as Lightning Mauler is paired with another creature, both creatures have haste. I like the idea, but the only problem is it only has 1 use. Well, once it's put into play, you have to rely on other soulbound creatures to make it more useful. I mean, like once you put it down, you're making one of your one of the creatures you cast that turn, you give that haste and this haste, so you're attacking for 2+ damage on that turn, depending on if Well, definitely more than 2 if you're using the soulbound. Problem I have with this, it doesn't have haste unless it is paired with another creature. And I'm sorry if you can hear the tractor in the background, my mom's cutting grass. But this is I like the card. Don't get me wrong. I mean, like, I keep going back to Silverblade Paladin, because I really like that card too. But if you put this into play, use it for that turn, paired with another creature, that creature's died, and now this is unpaired, use another soulbound creature, like Silverblade Paladin. I'm going to use that for the example. You put Silverblade Paladin into play and pair it with Lightning Molar, you have double strike and haste on Silverblade, and Lightning Molar has double strike. So you can attack for up to 8 that turn. So, I mean, will it see play? Probably not. Is it necessarily a bad card? I don't think so. People are probably going to say my ideas are just completely screwed up because I might be saying that cards that are good are bad and cards that are bad, like possibly this is bad, are good. But I like it. Let's leave it. I feel it could see play, it just probably won't. Malignus. I find this card really stupid. But another mythic. Wow. For 3 colorless, 2 reds, it's an elemental spirit. Mythic rare. Malignus's power and toughness are equal to half the highest life total among your opponents, rounded up. Give me a second, guys. I had to get a drink there. But I'm gonna stop there for a second. You could read the next effect, but right away it's not necessarily bad. I mean, yes, it is kind of bad. Right away. I mean, if you can get this out before you've done any damage and your opponent can't block it, yes, right away you've got your opponent down to half, but now this thing has half its power and toughness. You attack him again, this thing's down to 3. Attack him again, this thing's down to 1. Attack him again, well, okay, at that point you can have game, but it's easy to block at that point. And your opponent's not going to let you get that far. I mean, if that was all the effect, it has possibilities. But, as it is, now, the last effect just straight out kills it. Damage that would be dealt by Malignus cannot... Oh, what am I thinking? I thought it said prevent... I was thinking it said prevent damage from... Okay, now that kind of helps it. Damage that would be dealt by Malignus cannot be prevented. I mean, it just doesn't necessarily hurt it. It does help it a little bit, but not enough for it to really see play, I feel. But ignore everything I said about it being bad because of the second effect. I feel stupid now. Yeah. But anyways, continuing on. Pillar of Flame. I have mixed feelings about this card. For 1 red, it's a sorcery. Common. Pillar of Flame. Feels like it should be flames. For 1. That's hard to say. Pillar of Flame deals 2 damage to target creature or player. If a creature dealt damage this way would die this turn, exile it instead. Now, it's pretty good. Most people would say right away, oh, it's better than Shock. But I'll get to why I don't think it's necessarily better. I would say it's equal to. Well, equal to Shock, maybe slightly, well, somewhere between Shock and Galvanic Blast. Let's leave it at that. First of all, it deals 2 damage for 1. That's not necessarily bad, but Lightning Bolt used to deal 3 for 1. Though it's not in standard, so this would probably be your one of your best options for burn. If a creature dealt damage this way would die this turn, exile it instead. I like this idea since I've read. Yuck. Sorry about that, guy. I've liked that idea ever since I read Red Sun Zenith. Red Sun Zenith just does it on, just kills bigger stuff, really, for higher mana. Gee, my ears bother me, but I'm just gonna try to get on. Now, right away, seems like a really good card, isn't it? Doesn't it? Like, I was reading on a forum today that if you think, they were saying, if you think this is bad, if you think this shouldn't be played in red decks, you're bad at the game. I don't think that's necessarily the case. It's a sorcery, which is what hurts it. I mean, I think shock is an instant, correct me if I'm wrong, but if that isn't, I'm like 90% sure Galvanic Blast is. So, yes, you can deal 2 damage, but only during your turn. Which means if your opponent attacks with a weak monster, and you've got no blockers, and you had this in your hand, you're taking that damage. Well, yes, it doesn't seem like too much, but then there's stuff that like gets better the more it attacks. Can't think of anything off the top of my head, I'll admit that, but or I don't know. I feel like during your opponent's turn, if you needed to kill a creature, you'd rather have like Shock or Galvanic Blast in your hand than this. Don't get me wrong, I think this is a good card. I just think it's overhyped. Pretty good. It's a really good comment though. I'll say that much. And like I said before, they're helping Red trying to get Red back on their feet because they haven't given it that much love during the Innistrad block, unless you count the Wolves and the Vampires. But they're getting love when paired with another color. Vampires being paired with black, and Wolves being paired with green. Hang on one second, guys. The more I talk, the more my throat hurts, so sorry for cutting once in a while, but, well, not cutting, but just stop it. Anyways, good card, it's just has its downsides. Rite of Ruin. For 5 colorless, 2 reds, it's a sorcery, rare. Choose an order for artifacts, creatures, and lands. Each player sacrifices 1 permanent of the first type, sacrifices 2 of the second type, then sacrifices 3 of the third type. I think this is a pretty cool card. I mean, you can kill. Yes, it's affecting you too, but early on, you can kill your opponents. Like, you've got your field good. You've got your field good. You can choose to get rid of 1 creature, 3 lands, 3 lands or 3 artifacts. If neither you or your opponent runs artifacts, then it doesn't matter. But then lands, like if it's mid-game and you've got your attacker going, your opponent doesn't have that many blockers, and you kill their lands, they're gonna be hurting. Sounds all good, right? But paying 7 mana to do that? Come on. I really wish they... Like, I feel it would be a good card if it had... Even if it was just 5 for it, instead of 7. I'm talking converted mana cost, but... But then, might it... Maybe not at 5, but lower, I'd say it would be borderline broken. I don't know, I feel it's a good card, just cursed by too high mana cost. Now we're on the green spells, but I need to take a drink again. Ugh. Got Mountain Dew this time instead of water. Anyways, green spells. Remember this one? Champion of Lampold. You guys never gave me your reactions on this card when I put in the last video that it was unconfirmed. It's confirmed now. It's on the website. It's good. And what I mean by good is it's no longer just quote-unquote rumored. I mean, I trusted the site they got it off of, but I'd rather just hear it from Wizard, see it for myself on Wizard's website before I say anything. But yeah, I'll talk about it real quick again. 1 colorless, 2 greens. It's a human warrior, rare. Creatures with power less than Champion of Lambholt's power. Can't block creatures you control. Excuse me. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on it, on this creature. It pretty much does the same thing as Champion of the Parish, only helps protect your creatures, which gives you a little bit more of a control element along with the aggro, which I like. I like being able to mix a little bit of control and aggro. I mean, converted mana cost of 3, that's not great, but it's not necessarily bad because most of the time you're gonna have at least 4 mana, at least 2 of them being sun petals. And what I'm talking about is green white humans, either 2 sun petals or Raisenberg Thicket. The Mirrodin Scars of Mirrodin dual land. You're either gonna have you're most of the time gonna have between those 2 cards and another land. So you're gonna be able to get this out. Perhaps not as quickly as Champion of the Parish. I mean, yes, first turn Champion of the Parish can get you going quick and strong. This later game I think can do the pretty much same thing as long as you have enough creatures. So I like it, and it has the possibility to be ran in other decks too, so that helps. I think it's a good card. Once again, tell me what you guys think, how this compares to Champion of the Parish. I'm gonna put that in the comments below again in this video. Primal Surge, for 8 colorless, 2 greens. It's a sorcery. It's a mythic rare. Exile the top card of your library. If it's a permanent, you may put it onto the battlefield. If you do, repeat this process. And that's some pretty cool flavor text. But bad card because it takes 10 mana. If you wanted to run some kind of, well, you couldn't even run some kind of weird deck that just had creatures, because you wouldn't have the land to cast this, or it's just bad because once again because of the mana cost. But if it didn't have a high mana cost, I feel it would be broken. Maybe not this high. I think that's a little bit overboard. 7 or 6 colorless would have been a lot better, but it's not going to see play. It wouldn't see play unless it had insanely low mana cost. Somber Walled Sage. I like this card, and I will explain a little bit why. For 2 colorless, 1 green, human. It's a human druid. It's a rare. Tap it, add 3 mana of any 1 color to your mana pool. Spend this mana only to cast creature spells. I feel that if they don't re-release Birds of Paradise in Core 13, this might see play. But until then, I want to try it in my humans deck, because yes, you don't need that much mana acceleration, but if you can get it, it makes the deck go so much faster. And it's giving you 3 mana. I mean, why not? Why the heck not? I like this card. Yes, 3 might be a little bit high, but you're getting 3 mana back every turn. So you just doubled your mana. So that's pretty cool. And it's any color. Yes, all 3 have to be the same color, but a lot of stuff doesn't need more than 3 of one color. Most stuff doesn't need more than 3 of one color. So you can use your other lands for colorless, or you can use that first one for for colorless. I'm sorry, guys. I was watching TV and it said sponge, and I almost said sponge. But anyways, yeah, good card. Soul of Harvest for 4 colorless, 2 greens. It's an elemental rare. Trample. It has trample, and whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card, and it's a 6/6. Oh, and I forgot to mention, Thunderwald Sage is 0/1, so won't last too long, but it's still pretty good. Once again, I feel it won't see play outside Reanimator decks, if even in Reanimator decks, because you can start drawing with this as long as you can use unburial rates and stuff just to get your creatures out. You draw a card every time you do that, so it could help, but I don't see it doing too much, honestly. Ulvenwald Tracker for 1 green. It's a human shaman rare. For 1 colorless, 1 green, and tap it. Target creature you control fights another target creature. And it's a 1/1. Sorry about that, guys. I just needed something. I don't know. I don't feel this card will be that useful. It probably won't see play. I mean, why? Like, it's another method of, like, removal, such. It's like another option for destruction, but for green. But is it worth spending 3 mana? Well, and it's not even able to be used the turn you bring it out. I mean, yes, you can activate it every turn afterwards, as long as your opponent doesn't get rid of it first. But, I mean, I feel it's not going to be that useful. Wolverine Avenger. I have mixed feelings about this one. This one was not in the card gallery. I looked through the articles and found it. And it's for 1 colorless, 2 green. It's a wolf warrior. Uncommon. It has flash, which is explained. And for 1 colorless, 1 green, regenerated. And it's a 3/3. So I like this card. I don't know if it'll see that much use, but I like the idea of it. I mean, I don't know where it's going to find its place, but I feel it will find a place somewhere. I mean, for 3 mana, you get a 3/3 that can be regenerated. So, I don't know. I don't know. I like it, but I don't know where it's going to fit in. Like, it could have a place in a deck, but where is it going to fit in? If somebody has any ideas on that, put it in the comments below. I'd love to hear it, because this card is pretty cool. Now, lands. There's more like dual support, I guess? Dual color support? That's what I'm going to call them. Like, they support 2 colors being combined together. Alchemist's Refuge. For 1 green, well, tap it, add 1 to your mana pool. For 1 green, 1 blue, and tap it. You may cast non-land card this turn as though they had flash. That's a pretty cool idea. It's just, what decks run blue-green? If there's really that many decks that run blue-green that's going to want to use this, great idea. Go for it. But I don't see any. Yes, Frights, yes, they do run every single color. But I don't feel... Well, that might be an option, considering you could give... It says cards, not creatures, so you could give, like, Unburial Rites Flash and cast it as though it were an instant. I think that's how it would work, but it's an idea, and that'd probably be all the usefulness unless we get something pretty cool for blue-green together. Slayer Stronghold. I like this card. It's pretty cool. But tap it for 1 colorless to your mana pool. For a red, a white, and tap. Target creature gets +2/+0 and gains vigilance and haste until the end of turn. I like this card. Kind of happy it came out now because, like, I want to say during the Zendikar format that the Ajani, it was the red white Ajani. I remember there was a deck that was pretty big with that, and if this came out then, I feel it would be a lot better. But right now, there's not too much red white, so it's not going to see play. I wish they would have given it to a type that would actually, to 2 colors that would actually be used together. But yeah, what can you do? Now this is pretty cool. Cavern of Souls. As Cavern of Souls enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Oh, I misread this. Add 1 mana to your mana pool. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Spend this mana only to cast a creature spell of the chosen type, and that spell cannot be countered. I like the idea behind it. It's pretty cool, but I see this seeing use in humans. I'm big on humans, guys, so get used to it. Something, I guess zombies, but they mostly just play black, so why not just ride all swamps? I guess anything that would require at least 2 different colors of land, that all creatures share a type, like vampires, wolves, werewolves I guess would count, but well, in other words, I feel like if this is gonna shine, it's gonna shine like humans probably, and I'd like to try it. And one thing I forgot to mention, it's a rare, and so are the other 2 dual support lands. But I don't see this being that useful. And I think we're actually down to the almost end. Yep, tokens. There are tokens because there are token producers in the deck. In the the pack. Stuffy. The new angel token. Yeah, it's flying and it's 4/4. This is for I forget the name now, but it's the pre-release card. Well, that's what they say it's for. But then if you look back at the cards newly revealed, there are plenty of cards that can use this. At least one off the top of my head. So yeah, the new human token, I like it. I think it's cooler than the Dark Ascension one. That's my feelings on it. Not much to really explain. Oh, it's 1/1. Whoop-de-doo. White spirit token, and I say white because the next token, this one has flying and it's a 1/1. And I like this art better than the other, than Innistrad and Dark Ascension arts, because you can actually tell it's a person. I mean, I like the art. Let's leave it at that. Now, what I meant by white token is there's also a blue spirit token, flying 1/1. No cards have been revealed to need blue spirit tokens yet. So, a little bit of spoilers within the spoilers, I guess, which is pretty cool. Can't wait to see what makes blue spirit tokens. Now, I'm really disappointed with this. The demon token, flying 5/5. I'm pretty sure it's the exact same art from either Innistrad or Core 12. So why? Why? Couldn't you have at least re-arted it? It's not going to be used anyways, but put a little bit of effort into it. Re-art it. That makes me mad that they're just lazy with this. The zombie token, I think I've seen this one before. I can't remember, but I think it looks kind of cool. I don't know my preference on zombie tokens, but I'd probably say the Core 12 ones, where they look like zombie warriors. But, red human token, 1/1. Can't wait to see what makes red human tokens. But that's pretty cool, and I like the art on it. So yeah. And the emblem, there's an emblem in this pack for the Tamayo the Moon Sage. This is the second emblem to be released in a pack. The first one actually being from this block, being Soren, Lord of Innistrad. This one reads off Tamayo's I need to learn how to pronounce Tamayo's emblem effect. You have no maximum hand size. Whenever a card is put into your graveyard from anywhere, you may return it to your hand. So yeah, that's it. Hopefully you'll be back next week for the next one, for the final review on Avacyn Restored spoiler cards. And hopefully, if I do decide to go to the Avacyn Restored pre-release, which I'm leaning towards going, then hopefully you'll enjoy the videos I post of that. So yeah, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this as well, and there is plenty of videos to come. So I'm signing out. This is Yale Wolf X signing out. Peace.